Oh, you know what? Still need to upload that one video. Hello, everyone. This is Rap Raven. Let me. I've just jumped off another panel. Sorry for the slight lateness. Having a good debate. Another channel about Black Betterment. Where are we? Here we go. Here we go. Voila. Here we go. Cool. So let's go through this. I've got so many. There's so many windows open. Let me just take my time and close these windows. Close them. Too many open. Let me just close them all because it gets a bit hectic out here. Give me 17 seconds, family. There we go. Looking so far, so good. Oh, yeah. More space. Machine ain't going to blow up. Oh, yeah. Close all that. Let that go. Excellent. Cool. All right. Now, where are we? Make sure we're live. We are live. Yeah. Cool. Where are we? So, now I need to find my... Here we go. So this is the 95th show. 95th show. And you know what? My internet actually is a bit... Mic check. Is a bit... Let me check my internet speed. Hold on. Bad internet. So I think I'm tethering at the moment. This is a dodgy area. Anyway, cool. Let's see, shall we? So after much research, unfortunately, I concluded that currently Black people are collectively inadequate. Not good. Collectively mean group people seen as a whole, inadequate, lacking the quality to deal with life, and insufficient for a purpose. That's right. Because of that truth, unfortunately, we have to have a solution. We're going to throw out the link today so people can discuss the current topic. When we do, let's try to practice the 4D values, which are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. That's right. If we can practice that, we're laughing. Yeah, it should find the solutions just that little bit more easier. We'll say it once more time. Discipline, dignity, dedication, and discernment, the 4D values. That makes trying to find a solution with Black people just that teensy piece more easier. All right. Can using the descriptive language instead of derogatory language help Black people stay on better topic? Okay. So please let's try not to use derogatory language if possible. It helps, when trying to find solutions. Also, unfortunately, Black people get triggered very quickly when you're talking about Black issues. So try to be constructive as possible with the language. Oh yeah, very nice. So I was just on another panel fun. I've just literally before I jumped on here. So I'm jumping from panel to panel. But I was trying to explain to a non-Black person who was on this panel that Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. So that's right. It's an inward solution-based stuff. So if non-Black people are doing it, it doesn't qualify as Black Betterment because Black Betterment is self-determination. That's right. In order to not to be collectively inadequate, you need to know how to fix your own issues. And that's what this broadcast is about. It's about the lifestyle of Black people helping Black people. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. There you go. Ash Chronicles, good evening. Now, let's move on. What's the next one? So for those who don't know, Black Betterment is a lifestyle. Lifestyle, very important. We're going to show some videos. I've blackified them, so I've put them through an algorithm changer, so we should be able to play them. But, just so you know, we are using it for fair use and copyright and all that good stuff, because we're trying to help Black people. That's what we're trying to do. Big up, Brother Cal. Big up, She Reigns. This is the 95th show. That's right. That looks like this. Is that corruption on the farmer side? That looks terrible. Who did that? Okay, I think it's gone now. That looks like excellent. Whoops, daisy. Just for those who don't know, I'm going to put this in the group. If you are on Instagram, feel free to can I copy right now? Can I copy and like that? There we go. Let me copy and paste. Feel free to go on to Instagram and type in Black Betterment Broadcast. That's right. Follow there. We're going to be promoting Black Betterment stuff on there. All ways to improve and all that good stuff. Please follow. Tell your friend to be a friend of that actual Instagram. Friend. Very nice. Cool. Right. So that's Black Betterment, the broadcast. Now, we're on today's topic. Here we go. Let me actually get the information out because I've been rushing around and I just make sure I get the names right and I don't want to mess up. So what is today's topic is about, should Black people delineate from inappropriate behavior amongst Black public representatives? It's like a tongue twister there. Okay. And I've got the Black Betterment broadcast that shouldn't even be there, but it's there. Cool. What was I saying? So what does that mean? That means right now there's a lady. This is in America, by the way, family. Her name is Tierra Mack, born in 93. She's an American politician of the Democratic member of the Rhode Island Senate. Good for her. And she's the first openly queer Black person. There you go. And she identifies as Afro-Caribbean, even though she was born in the States. I think she must have a background from the Caribbean. and she plays rugby as well. There you go. So isn't that cool? Very nice. Anyway, the sister it's been circulating because at the moment, what's happened is even though she's in the Senate, she wants people to vote for her. And one of the stunts, the promotions I should say that she did was she did a form of upside down handstand twerking in a bathing suit on the beach, and then she concluded by saying, "Vote for her." Let me see if I can find that. Just so we can hold on. Video file. Shows. Have I even put it in there? I don't think I have. Let me see if I can find that one. Give me 17 seconds, family. 17 seconds. Okay, I hope you're counting that. Yeah, I found it. Look at that. Magic. All the way to 95. A lot of folders upon folders upon folders. There we go. It magically appears and we press play. Open in 5, 4, 7, 2, 1. Go, go, go. All right, so this is her. Turn that up. I don't know if I should be playing this, but we are.
Senator Mac.
All right. So for those who see it one more time, this is not for funny business. It's more so for study purposes. So there's the sister. She's on the beach and she's doing these kind of dance moves.
Vote Senator Mac.
Yeah. So this is something that she puts on, I think, a TikTok or something like this. So I think the question we're going to say is like the word that I'm looking for. That's a very important word. Is inappropriate. Should we delineate from inappropriate behavior? Should we try to educate on things that are inappropriate? Can we quantify that? Is there such thing as inappropriate behavior? Is this something that we see other people do? And the reason why I say inappropriate behavior because I see a consistency, throughout the years, especially when it comes to like important issues where black people are being murdered and killed. You tend to see a kind of behavioral pattern that it seems to go down the road of more fun and games, dancing and singing and that kind of stuff. Now I'm going to play some video of her talking about because I think they played it on some other stations like Fox and that. So there's another Brothers show where she's on there. So I'm going to press play on this while I sort something else out. So have a listen. Go. Rewind. They gonna let me for my ambition. So he's got his own page. There it is. There. Follow it.
News channels. Fox News, CNN, it doesn't really get bigger than Tucker Carlson, and he actually tweeted this. I saw this video that someone posted on YouTube, like on a regular YouTube channel, but then I researched it more and I realized that he actually tweeted this last night, 8:53 p.m. Tucker Carlson, July 5th, 2022. From his Twitter account, it reads, "Why are Democrats holding back the very talented Tierra Mack?" Which actually rhymes. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, it's also funny because some people also were like, "Wait, Tierra Whack is in politics?" I was like, "No, like our names just sound super familiar."
Confuse you with. I was gonna ask you that as well. Do you listen to Tierra Whack?
Yes, I do.
That's crazy how you're actually at least you're aware of her because a lot of people like that would be even weirder. Like what the coincidence? But you obviously were aware of her.
Yeah, I know who she is. Like love the music, but that's not me.
Yeah, Tierra Mack is not Tierra Whack. But I'm pretty sure Tierra Whack. I gotta check her Twitter account, but she probably is aware of you by now, especially if we got people like Tucker Carlson. So here's his actual reaction, and we're gonna get your reaction directly after.
You have to wonder why it's left to this show, of all places, to announce the rising star, the next rising star in the Democratic Party. But it is, so we're going to. It's a woman called Tierra Mack. You never heard of Tierra Mack? Well, maybe that's because she's a state senator in the country's smallest state, Rhode Island. And you have to wonder why. This is a woman with demonstrated talent who has, as she announced,
yeah, there's like slowly panning in.
An Ivy League degree.
He really wanted to take a look.
Brown, but still technically Ivy League. Famous people send their kids there. Whatever, it's Brown. You should be impressed. And she's an amazing performer. Here's her latest campaign ad.
All right, so they're watching this on Tucker and they're showing it there, right? Now, how long is this video? It's like 10 minutes. No,
Senator Mac.
So you ever have those moments where you see something you're like,
so I just want to see if the sister can explain why what her plan was, but they're just reviewing it on. I think they've played it on Fox News, which isn't like the best station to be fair.
oh, that's the future. That's what it looks like.
So we have a message here. Let's put that on the thing. This is very difficult to combat when the structures reward poor public behavior. A spotlight is given, unfortunately. Yes. So what we're saying is many bad behaviors will be put in the media. We don't really control much media outlets, and obviously these behaviors seems to be promoted. in some kind of way. Big up, big up, big up. Big up, Scattered Minds. Big up, Scattered Minds. Always good to see the brother there.
And we thought, man, that's the Democratic Party 2020.
So all right. So, I mean, let me skip ahead. Come on. She's reviewing it. Let's see if they say anything of any value first.
Of him. And so I know that he's like this like right-wing, like it boy in conservative media, but it was just like really funny when I had friends who were like, oh my God, Tucker Carlson said your name. And I was like, oh, the meme guy, the guy from the meme.
I don't think she's going to really say much, to be fair. So let's skip this. One thing I'm going to show comparisons with is, for example, in Black Lives Matter, unfortunately, in the protest, there was this. Let's rewind. So this is a brother who wanted to protest by dancing in front of the police. Let's
The music is the street.
So very performative.
Music is the moment of these people cheering. The music is
what I'm saying is, we're talking about someone being murdered and justice and changing the law. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe performing is the best way for change. Maybe dance your way to freedom, or dance your way to betterment. Who knows?
Heart beating because of your nerves. Like, use that.
So the question we're talking about is anything that Black people do when it comes to representing Black betterment or important issues. Is some things inappropriate? Can we actually quantify
to develop this stage? I've had like so many of my friends shot and killed, whether to gang violence or police violence. Like I know both, so it was crazy when I heard about George that I didn't feel anything, and that was really sad until I seen, of course, what was being posted, and then that instantly like brought feeling back. I was happy to empathize at that moment, because I hate when I have moments of like not emotionally connecting to the situation because I'm so, as an American, hearing his breath did that, hearing him repeatedly say, yeah, like as a proud.
So we're looking at a brother who's a dancer, I assume, and he's saying that so many Black people have been killed that he doesn't feel nothing, but I think by seeing the murder on the video it made him feel something, and he wanted to represent it by a dance. And I think what I'm trying to highlight here is that the appropriate thing to do in front of police? Maybe. I don't know. You let us know.
A Black man, I know when I see another one, and to hear someone that is proud to be who they are, regardless of their situation, gasping, pleading, that it does something else to me. And that's when it woke me back up. Like, we're here. We're still here. We still have this seed.
All right, skip that. Let's see if there's any more of the performative. Hold on.
How else do we cry to the grotesque? Because that's something that we need at times. Like,
I guess this shows about Black people when it comes to collective building and stuff. Like, if we don't have any kind of infrastructure in the media, any kind of solutions, then I guess many Black people are going to just be dancing in front of the police.
I can't just whimper over something like this. This is too much. This is overwhelming. Like, how do I show hurt without affecting you? And for it to still be peacefully, it has to be through some type of art. I don't rap. I'm not a painter. Yeah,
well, like I said, if you're a rapper or a painter, when people die and stuff, are murdered, I don't know if trying to. I mean, don't get me wrong. You make creative pieces about it, but at the time, I don't know. Just
can't create this motif for you that's on the structure and present it to you. I have to.
Right. Cool. Let's look at one other thing. Something where I was going to go to is. Another broadcast, and this is the hugs and all that kind of stuff. Black people hugging police around about the George Floyd stuff. So we're looking at, is any kind of behavior inappropriate? Do we have priorities? Maybe not. Who knows? Let's have a little sneak peek.
This week across America, the power of a hug was on full display.
Patient weird.
I think we want to get use of. Unfortunately, I could be wrong. Being Black and crying seems to be a very good thing that wants to be shown in the mainstream. Don't know why. Maybe you know why, but we see it a lot.
They shouldn't have to be here.
As well as solidarity. A lot can be said by simply taking a knee. In New York, California, and Washington state, violent looting was met with sympathy. Americans helped Americans pick up the pieces. And then there were those who tried to stop things from falling apart in the first place. Protesters repelled looters in Santa Monica and again in Brooklyn. At the protests in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a little water went a long way.
I know you guys out here doing your jobs. I'm not mad at you.
In George Floyd's hometown of Houston, the police chief joined the calls for justice.
We know what? We built this country. We ain't going nowhere.
And in Flint, Michigan, a show of what can be achieved when the sheriff puts down his baton.
I took my helmet off and laid the batons down. Yeah. I want to make this a parade, not a protest.
Meanwhile, days after George Floyd's death, 29-year-old Sean Dromgoole went for a walk in Nashville, and 75 of his neighbors had his back.
My neighborhood is the best neighborhood.
Dromgoole had been paralyzed with fear, too afraid to walk his neighborhood. Over the years, it had become more expensive and more white. He was worried some of his neighbors would see him and call the police. He posted online, "The fear of not returning home to my family alive kept me on my front porch." His anxiety turned to astonishment, the parade of support that followed.
I love y'all. I can't wait.
So I just come from a panel where a lot of the brothers in there, they really look towards non-black people for solutions and this kind of stuff. And I would say that it might be a better strategy and might be more appropriate behavior. So try to look within your community for solutions and try to build within your community. That's where the real problem comes, because you can achieve so much within your community if you try to circulate your economic growth. You have, you have each other's back. You create programs, blah 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 blah, all that good stuff.
To have y'all over for tea and cake.
In New York, a neighborhood hit hard by COVID-19 and heartache found joy in music. In Oakland, a different.
So now people are dancing. This is after George Floyd, there's the mass movement of dancing. Is this appropriate behavior? Maybe, I don't know, who knows. Once again, is it about blacks and whites and non-blacks coming together, or is it about getting justice for murdered black men? Who knows?
Kind of protest movement. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., not far from the White House, proof we all need somebody to lean on. For today, Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News.
Right, singing stuff. So, okay, what we're talking about here, let's go back. All right. So, should black people delineate from inappropriate behavior amongst the black public representatives? Black Betterment Broadcast. Yeah, so this is what we're talking about. We're talking about inappropriate behaviors by black people, especially those who push themselves forward to represent black issues. They use the term black at all, whatever it might be. As a community, is there a value in us saying that certain things might be overboard and might not be appropriate? Do we see certain behavior patterns in other people groups? Is like the sister here, is twerking for votes something that we should push? Maybe. I don't know. You let me know. You let me know. Now, what am I going to do? Where am I? Lobby. So finally, good topic. Feel free to jump in. I'm going to throw it in there now. Brown sisters, come in. Jump in. Where are we? Is that the right one? YouTube. Yeah, that is the right one. There you go. Let me try to make some space. Here it is. Da. Up. Excellent. Cool. Now, where are we? So, question is, should black people delineate from inappropriate behavior amongst black public representatives? You tell me, family, if you have an opinion on such things about inappropriate behaviors or things that you define as inappropriate behaviors, jump in, let me know. Some of you might think this is not inappropriate. Some of you might think it is. Some of you might want to talk about other things that you think are not inappropriate. Before you join, guys, we played some videos of George Floyd unfortunately being murdered, and then people hugging, dancing, singing, giving out water, all that kind of stuff. Is that appropriate behavior? Should that be the focus? Maybe it should. Maybe that should be the focus, but if so, let us know, because that's what we want to do. Or should there be different focus? Should be policy change, voting change, economic change? Who knows? We don't know. So I'm saying, priorities. Now, I've just jumped off a panel, and it was actually it would actually kind of be good while people decide to jump on if I actually play some of the stuff, because it was very interesting. What I heard on the last panel. Big up, brother Cal. How's it going, brother?
How you doing, brother Raven, man? Big up to the 95th
There you go.
show. It's amazing, and we
Look at that.
appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I know you big up brother Cal as well. I know brother Cal is very active in jumping around the internet world, trying to promote Pan-Africanism and black people, helping black people and stuff. So well done to you, brother.
Yeah, brother, it has to be done. You know, some of us have to be, you know, as I said, you know, if you're working, you should fund organizations, which I do. But some of us not all the time should be in the public figure. You know, sometimes, you know, if you're able to, if you're not, you know, utilize Black Betterment. So yeah, big up to Black Betterment and yourself, brother Raven, Solution Based.
There you go. I was funny enough, we're talking about inappropriate behavior and stuff. I just jumped from a panel just now and on another thing, and there's many black people who when you talk about solutions, they talk about things that can't be done, or they try to say no, actually there is no issues, or they might say things like, you know, well, I've got friends from different backgrounds and they're my friends and family. I would say, would you say that's inappropriate behavior?
Oh, that's definitely inappropriate behavior, yeah. And we can definitely say that if we are unsynchronized as a whole, unfortunately, then we can say non-African people are very synchronized in trying to disrupt and deny and control African human rights and all things, man. So yeah, definitely inappropriate behavior.
Well, it's funny because I just don't want to because I just come from another panel, and big up the brothers who do the panels, but I sense some kind of patterns coming to play, and it is that kind of like the non-black people who claim to be allies, because that's a big thing. They behave in a certain way when we talk about black people being collectively inadequate and need to come together for solutions. What I found was those non-black people were actually saying it's better to do nothing.
That's right. Yeah,
that's very fascinating. So it's very interesting. What I might try to do to the families, I might see if I can find that report. I'm hoping that if I play stuff in the thing, it will get problems hearing, but we'll try that. Let's see if I can find it. But while I'm finding that, let's let are you aware of this particular incident at the moment with this lady from America whining, not whining, twerking for votes? Are you aware of this?
Yeah, my one of my daughters was telling me, and she was explaining it, and she showed me the video. It's a coincidence actually, because you've shown it again, and I was a bit startled because you know, although she has an amazing mind, but because the black woman's sexuality has been classed as vulgar and these things, it's definitely unsynchronized, and she needs to market or campaign something as an object of desire to get her campaigning, instead of using you know, body parts which will undermine her betterment.
No, I hear that. Okay, so I think, has he started a new one, brother? 45 minutes ago, so I think it ended. So what we're gonna do, I hope brother Jedi doesn't mind. Good brother, we used to talk a lot in Speaker's Corner. I'm gonna go towards the end. Let's see if I can see any patterns. So where we are now is we're trying to convince black people that there is a value in black people coming together and being solution based. So let's see if we can do a case study and see if we see any inappropriate behaviors going on here at all. So let me see if I can work out this. So it's stop screen, one, share. So far so good. And I believe it's you need to let me know if you can hear this. What is it called? I want to say it's that one. Share. Hold on. What is that from? Oh, Matter of fact, let me do it on another one. Hold on. Yeah. There we go. All right. So I'm just using a different browser because it's probably easier to use. Start again, family. Okay, technology. All right. Big up everyone at the Betterment Broadcast. Thank you for supporting. Feel free to jump on, have your say. Always have your say. Share screen. There we go. Let's try it now. This should be working. There we go. All right. So play. All right. All right. Wait. Inappropriate, baby. Let's see if we can load. I think I might look to improve that people. It isn't like 100% all nothing like nothing. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. You have to actively try to do it. You have to have the philosophy in your heart that it makes sense. Because if you don't do it, then what will happen is the normal day-to-day will continue. And the normal day-to-day should not be black people. That's the issue.
You got to work with the infrastructure that's already presented to you, definitely. You know what I mean? The thing is, like, completely absconding from that is ludicrous, in my opinion. I mean, it's harder work.
Just so you know, I'm saying the step-by-step process, right? Yeah. No one's saying the change. I'm saying in a perfect world, there's a black-owned business with black employers at the very top of the chain, networking with a Chinese business, right? But what has happened is it has to be a black business, hire black people at the top of their chain. Yeah. And then their network. Okay. Right?
So Hold on. Let me ask one question. Yeah. Who would your customers be in that case?
Okay, so this has just happened now. So we've just jumped from a panel. Basically, big up brother Jedi Trimilun. I can't pronounce it. Shame me, right? I can't say it, but tongue twister. There you go. So, whoopsie daisy. There you go. But big up brother Jedi and his channel. And I think his channels are like for everyone. Everyone jumps on, has their opinion, and that's good. Good for him. And I think there's a European lady, and I think she didn't really feel included by the Black Betterment conversation. And she comes in to ask a question, and she gets very triggered. Let's see.
So I'm saying black was would your customers be black only? No. So I still can buy from your business. You can still profit from me, but I can't be employed by you. Okay. Absolutely.
Now what this is you get this from Asians and Europeans. When you talk about starting a Caribbean or African-owned kind of venture, whatever it might be, you understand the concept that you're coming together to create something that's going to go on the market. That's like when you go into an Asian restaurant or an Irish restaurant, whatever it is, you know that they're going to be Irish people or Asian people. And we know that as consumers, we're going to go there and we're going to buy stuff. It's not really an issue, right? But what's happening now is they've changed the narrative. They're going to say, oh, but you can take my money, but you can't hire me. Now, remember, I started this conversation by saying, unfortunately, black people are collectively inadequate. So there needs to be an active strategy of how to actually compete. Yeah. But now the non-black allies are now gonna cause confusion in this, and let's see how it manifests. I could be wrong, but let's see.
Absolutely.
And why so have you got businesses that you're gonna stop supporting?
They want to take our money, but they don't want to give us money.
Now, this is an Asian, Irish, and European lady talking, and they're completely bombasted. They're bamboozled by this concept of a Caribbean restaurant hiring Caribbean people selling Caribbean food. It's just what's going on there? Why should we support you? But do we support Chinese restaurants that do that? Do we support Irish restaurants that do that? Do we support Asian restaurants? We most certainly do. But look now, that when we try to organize to change it, there is almost like a kind of, and I'm not saying this is deliberate, although some might say it's deliberate. It's almost like by osmosis, non-black people are aware that once black people get organized, it's going to really upset the bottom line. But let's keep listening.
That's right.
Don't get triggered.
Very important thing. Never get triggered and lose yourself when you're talking amongst these topics, because it'll be used to cause confusion. But let's hear it.
I tried to I am a business owner, right? And we do serve white people. And I'm gonna be honest. Only black people work in my restaurant. I'm gonna be dead as honest. I am going to give the people who needs the most help first in my mind. And in my mind, the first is going to be my family members who's out here on bullshit that ain't doing nothing. That's first and foremost. and then second is going to be other black people. I just have a preference. It's nothing wrong with me saying. Well, I'm not saying white people can't work in my restaurant ever, but at the current moment, I only hire black.
Okay,
Number
okay,
one,
but
hold on, shut up, but let me say this. Number one, only black people put in applications. That's number one. So I've had a restaurant for 3 or 4 years. I've never got a white application. Only people who walk in off the street that ask me, "Hey, are you hiring?"
Things never have to be made that difficult. You're making an attempt to fix an issue in the community. So your community building, it should be rocket science.
That's first and foremost. But like I said, I'm going to give the people that I feel needs the most help. I'm going to help them.
But legally, right? You're obliged to be fair, right? When it comes down to it, right? You have to.
So now we're going to hear the Asian individual talk about law and legal stuff. We understand that Asian communities will fix Asian issues. It's not a real issue, but once again, in a discussion about black people progressing economically, now the law and this kind of stuff's coming up. Very peculiar, but let's have a listen.
No, but realistically, right? If you are right given an ultimatum where you have to choose between two people, a white person and a black person who have the same skill set in terms of, you know what I mean, right? What they like cooking, for example, right? Then you have to basically, right? You would choose the black person because he's black. That's basically your preference, right?
No,
this is going on race.
I want to choose the person who needs the most help, which more than likely is going to be the black person. Now, if you give me some extreme example.
Sometimes we want, when we're talking this kind of stuff, we want to hit and quit, right? We want to just get to the point and move on. I think sometimes we dwell on certain things. It's like, mate, we're trying to fix something, is what it is. We don't need to have a whole lot of epic story. Like I said, black people don't need permission to fix black issues. You don't need it. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's very peculiar, but let's move on.
You know what I'm saying? Give me some extreme example of how the
what if he's one point ahead?
Now, what you're going to find, this is normal as well. Look for this pattern that whenever you interact with non-black people, they will create these scenarios to really try to determine, you know, what if a one-legged man came and all this kind of stuff. And ultimately what they're trying to do is make sure that what happened beforehand continues, meaning black people do not practice black people do not fix black issues, and black people go towards non-black people for all form of sustenance and solutions. All right. Now, I'm not saying it's done deliberately, you know, but it seems to be very consistent. So be aware of it. All right. Let's listen.
Like, let's just say 1 point ahead.
You can see I'm trying to interject because it's going all over the shop.
Look, this is a pattern.
See, I'm talking about patterns now. Very important.
I've just told the people who are on this panel, white people, black people, non-black people, that black people are collectively inadequate and underachieving. And we're going to try to actually fix ourselves by focusing ourselves. So if your next response is, well, do you want this, do you want that, and it goes down the way of kind of guilt trip, then that shows that they cannot be allies.
What did I say there? What I said is, if I start a conversation by recognizing that black people are underdeveloped, underachieving, and collectively inadequate in so many areas of activity, right? Now, if we do that and we recognize that we have to come together to fix certain things, yeah, anyone who speaks against that is inappropriate behavior, to be honest, right? But what I'm saying is, if that's how we start a conversation, then it's very peculiar where no one actually acknowledges is that. And the first thing they say after that is to not fix yourself, right? And then obviously they'll change your language. Let's see. Because now what you're going to hear, and this is very, very common, is you're going to get fake outrage, right? Fake outrage, programmed outrage. And unfortunately, with black people, we really are concerned and care for the tears of non-black people. And it's a very good confusion manipulation technique. Let's see if we can analyze it.
Oh, it was a simple question. No, go fuck yourself, Reagan, because I'm sick of.
We have to forgive the language. Some of the people they don't practice any kind of like control.
Victim mentality every single fucking time. This woman is Mary Jen, right? I asked you a simple question. Don't go, oh, they can't do this or can't do that. I asked you a simple fucking question. Why are you taking such offense to it?
Okay, first of all, you obviously.
Because man, this is a black on your fucking panel, so there's a white woman.
So once again, I forgive for the language because some people they come from different culture groups and they do different things, but we're using it as a form of case study. But what you're going to realize is these kind of techniques of confusion and anger and fake outrage. This is very good at keeping black people docile and stuff. Be very aware of it. Very, very rare.
She's gonna ask questions about the discussion that's going on, and if you don't like it, go fuck off somewhere else.
That's
Sick of this shit.
You said that. One time. This individual doesn't know who I am, right? So let's establish. I don't get offended by anything a black or non-black person says, right? I'm here to help black people collectively because they're collectively inadequate.
One thing as well, notice that everywhere I go, I point out the objective. Very important. Point out the objective because people will change the narrative, have purpose. Unfortunately, with black people as well, they don't like definitions and they don't like purpose and objective. So it's all wishy-washy talking, all wishy-washy, and at the end of it, nothing gets done. Also, be very wary when people are never talking about solution. They're always talking about problems and how problems will never be resolved. Be wary of this, family. We have to be solution-based. All right.
If you swear at me, I don't know where that comes from, and that's your culture. That's what you're doing. All power to you, right?
Yeah.
The thing don't change, yeah? If you don't talk to me, try to be like the other brothers on the panel and learn something.
Listen, I ain't gonna change for nobody, so don't tell me what I should and shouldn't do. I beg you.
I
really don't know who the fuck I am.
I believe her.
You're a regular show, and you take solace and enjoying this kind of stuff. Then, cool. What I'm saying is, there's still a topic at hand, isn't it? And let's try to represent our community and betterment and try to find solutions, isn't it? Rather than name calling. I don't know where you come from.
So which community? Hold on, when you say our community, what community are you talking about?
I don't know where you're from. You've got a picture of a cartoon character, so I don't know where you're from. How would I know what community that is?
You said our community. What community are you referring to?
This conversation at hand is about black betterment.
Right, but it's not how it started. You jumped on under the assumption that it was about black betterment.
Well, it's like this. Anywhere where black people are thriving for good and working together, qualified as black betterment.
Okay, so if Asian people are helping out black people,
very important. Now, we're going to see something. We're going to see what's this? We're going to see a person ask if Asian people help black people. This could also be perceived as a control tactic. We help you. You do us good stuff, and this is what it comes down to: is in the heart of black betterment is the solution to all the problems. You see, because black betterment is black people helping black people on black issues. It's in the heart of the lifestyle. So if a non-black person helps you, it's not part of the lifestyle. It's something different, and it doesn't qualify. This is a default measure to make sure that black people will never become subservient around others. So in the heart of the lifestyle is baked that it must be black people helping black people, so you don't get these manipulation techniques. That's right.
I don't know why we're on the assumption that this is exclusively a black people.
So what you got to understand is we start the conversation with non-black people and we talk about black people being collectively inadequate, underdeveloped and stuff. And there's an aggressive tone. There's an aggressive tone in the solution that all those people groups practice. And there's going to be a dedication to speaking against that. This is what we call inadequate. If black people support this, this is inappropriate behavior. Yeah, this is very inappropriate. Yeah, and we need to rely on it. But anyway, I'm going to stop it there. Big up, brother Trill, brother Jedi on his show. I wish you much success, and big up all the brothers who are trying to find solutions. All right, so we're now going to go back to where were we? But any questions, brother Cal?
Yeah, great analysis and observation. It's definitely a learned behavior that comes out consciously and subconsciously, and it's amazing how we fall for these tactics. What they do, we rush to save them. Our dopamine once again, which we're not controlling. Well, it was a good observation analysis, brother Overman. It's spot on.
Thank you, family. It's very consistent, and what we have to and one strategy I always tell the brothers this today that you might want to do whenever you're in public talking to black people about solutions. If you find that there's a negative outcome constantly and people constantly tearing apart solutions and they're talking about things will never get better, challenge them by saying, if a passerby was to listen to the show, out of all of us, who would they think is dedicated to black betterment? Yeah, through the words and actions you say, who will it be? Because what you're going to find is a lot of those people, they will never be perceived as doing anything for black people, right? And I think that's what we want to highlight. We want to campaign that is the gold standard. The person who is seen, doing, talking, practicing things that is for black people to prosper, they're the ones who should get attention, and they're the ones who should get our merit, credit, and all the rest of it, right? So something we have to do on that, and we have to challenge those who constantly undermine and slow down the conversation. Is how you're speaking correlate with black betterment? Will the passerby think that out of me and you, which one will they think is for betterment and against betterment? You see, Very important. And once again, establishing, I said that sometimes solution comes from a smaller number. So unfortunately, not everyone's going to be with you. Sometimes you actually have to take a smaller, more dedicated, creative few and do stuff with those. And then we talk about the free. I think we did. I think I have the diagram last week. Let's see if I have it here. Oh, yeah, the 3 phases of change. There you go. The 3 A's of change. Sorry, and it's done in 3 phases. So the first phase is the aim. What is the aim? The aim is black betterment, to promote black betterment in every single household. Make black people take responsibility for fixing black issues. So this is the aim. You probably need about 5% of people coming up with strategies out of the black community of betterment, right? How it can be done. Then from the 30%, we have phase 2. These are the people who hear the aim and they agree and they want to action it. They want to go out there and they want to action. They want to make sure they practice the philosophies, the lifestyles, the ideas, the betterment of how to push black people forward. Now, once that happens, you're going to find that you're going to have the assimilation. The zeitgeist and the paradigm will change in the world, and people will actually, without knowing by osmosis, behave in a way that is in black people's benefit. When we talk, I was talking on the other panel just a few hours ago, a few minutes, I should say, really. And so one of the brothers was saying, you can't help black people. You can't do this because, when you get in business, you've got to definitely look for other non-black people to work with, and that's just how business works. And you can't work with black people. That was a paradigm that he was fed that worked for him. Meaning, in the world, that paradigm became norm. You see, someone somewhere made it very profitable for black people to not to work with other black people, right? At least that mindset. So the aim of the phase 1, 5% aim population, we're trying to change that action. So the phase 3, the people who just talk automatically talk in line with betterment. Because that's the thing, some people, they don't necessarily know how change works. They honestly think that what they're in is how it always has been. And they also might challenge, they might feel threatened to challenge authority or the status quo. So they can never be, we did a show a few weeks back, whatever, of who should represent black issues. And unfortunately, if a brother is compromised and nothing they say correlates with black betterment in any form, then unfortunately they don't qualify to speak on black issues, especially if they're heavily integrated in kumbayaism, heavily. These are the things you have to be very aware of, family. We have to be very aware of this. Let me think. Also, brother, let me know you're still there because I'm tethering at the moment, so my net might cut any second.
No, I'm still here, brother, man. I'm still here.
It's never good, never good. So anyway, family, I'm going to put the link out in the group one more time. Feel free to jump on before my internet shuts and everything goes down. So if you have an opinion about the concept of inappropriate behavior on any format, let me know. You're welcome to jump in and have your say. There we go, in a link there.
I was gonna say, brother Raven, like as human beings, we have like patterns and routines, man, and we're very comfortable with that. So I noticed that when you break that routine, it can make a person very startled. So we want to break the routine of inappropriate behavior, of course. Now I promote daily reminders for whenever we do inappropriate things, like for example the discussion that you was having, and also with the sister who did that twerking action, is that we should use certain types of words like this is unsynchronized, and then explain why it is. There's a history. Your sexuality was classed as vulgar, you're oppressed, and now you're feeding into that. Or brother, you wanting non-African people to help with our cause is unsynchronized because they've always infiltrated. Definitely have to have a bit of wisdom of breaking the routine when we're doing inappropriate behavior. That makes any sense?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, and I think definitely speak in a way that can remind them, And one thing I add to that is challenge them on what are their solutions, like, and what are their solutions within the black community, and is the solution they're speaking about, does it always have to include non-black people, and where have they seen that being practiced in other communities? Because I don't really see it, and I think and don't get me wrong, throughout the whole community, there's many people who understand these concepts, and obviously when we talk to people who are not aware of it, we don't want to paint the picture like that is everyone. but we have to be aware of the strength, dedication of some unsynchronized black people who really feel that when we're talking about black issues, it's appropriate to constantly bring up non-black people. It's very peculiar. But yes, like Brother Kel says, we have to remind them at every step of the way that this unsynchronized and it's learned behavior, and you cannot get salvation through begging. You know, this doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You have to build your own. You have to see a value in building your own. There was also one brother there we were telling about black people struggling, and then he had a different paradigm. And his paradigm, black people were doing amazing and doing extremely well. And he would give examples about himself. And one of the problems we have in our community is this kind of soloism. You see, yeah. And I give the analogy about Pele and Michael Jordan being the world's greatest players. But if they're on the field and they don't have a good team and no one's passing, then they can't win. Doesn't matter how good they're doing individually. Yeah. And essentially what the brother then wanted to say, like, okay, he's doing really well, and he achieved it by potentially not necessarily really doing any kind of black betterment work. So that must be the template that is success. And I'm like, well, that might be successful for you as an individual, but for the hordes and numbers of black people who are struggling, that we can't, you know, that can't be the solution for them. For them, has to come down to what are we doing together, and we have the skill sets. But once again, it's also very important. This is going to be very controversial, but I recommend it. Whenever you're talking to black people who are dedicated to not doing things for self and dedicated of practicing kumbayaism and talking about other people and trying to invite everyone to the barbecue, right? You have to draw the line and say, unfortunately, brother, right? We are going to practice in a form of elitism, a form of qualificism, right? Where you have to qualify to do a certain thing. And part of the qualification is how you speak and how you action. So if we're trying to find solutions for black people and you're constantly shooting it down, you're constantly not helping, you're constantly talking about other people, then you might not qualify, innit? And we're gonna have to go to those who do qualify to put that phase 1 in. You're gonna have to benefit on phase 3. You're not gonna benefit on phase 1 or phase 2. You're gonna have to benefit, where are we? On phase 3, you see, the assimilation, where you have no choice. Because right now, these brothers are talking against their own betterment. This is not normal. So that means somehow by osmosis, through the media, through the magazines, through the internet, through the phones, all that, they have been fed this paradigm and they honestly accept it. They accept it with full embrace. They have assimilated into a idea where they are subservient and they have to, separate from others and all this kind of stuff, right? I'm like, okay, we, the small percent, the 5%, in the community who want to try to create ideas that work for black people's collective best interests and have them accessed by the 30%. We just have to do our thing and they'll assimilate and they won't even know they're assimilating. They won't even know. Because what's going to happen is they're going to own shops, they're going to own certain things, they're going to see themselves on TV, they're going to see, when they take out the internet, the algorithm is going to be pro-black and when they turn on the TV or their current TV, they're going to see it. When they buy a magazine, they're going to see it. It's going to be so ingrained when we achieve this that they're going to talk in correlation with that idea and not even know they're doing it because it's actually integrated in their cultural norm. Right now, not helping black people is drilled into the cultural norm of black people, and unfortunately, it doesn't work in our best interest. And it's almost like some people are too scared to try to change that.
Yeah. That's what the Honorable Marcus Garvey says, to see your enemy and to know him is part of complete education of a man. So, we just don't, I believe, brother, we don't understand racism. We've got our own versions what it is. And our black psychiatrists have explained what racism is. Yes. So we need to definitely learn that and understand who their enemies is and what their agenda is. And, most definitely, man, we've got to understand these things.
It's very true. Like I said, this is a beacon call out, a black Betterment beacon call out, and for all those black people with skills and consistency, come on the platform, make it be known, join our networks, let us be solution based and everything. And I always say that when black people are talking and people are listening, if a person had to pick someone to practice betterment with, who will they pick? Are they going to pick the person who's constantly trying to find solutions, or the person who's constantly trying to undermine solutions, right? And that's the challenge I give to everyone out there, right? That's a challenge. Like sometimes we might be defeatist and we don't even know it. We don't even know it. And as I was demonstrating with the earlier video, unfortunately, many non-black people get on code with their own betterment, and they work in ways to make not doing stuff fair seeming, right? So the example was there. I was talking to a brother, and the brother was saying that if we don't do anything, things are fine. My business is doing well. Well, I would say, well, actually, we need to action us coming together, networking, each one teach one, this kind of stuff. And then the Asian gentleman jumped on and said, I actually I agree with the do nothing solution.
Yeah.
And I'm like, So black people speaking. One is trying to actually include everyone and find solutions. One is saying whatever happens at the moment is fine. And then the Asian, in unison, agrees with black people working with non-black people for solutions. You see?
It's like that video that time. I can't remember what show it was, but it's definitely Inappropriate Behaviour, and it had Muhammad Ali on there, and it had
yes,
I can't remember the guy's name, but the moment
the Family Johnson.
Yeah, do you remember the moment he started to speak Kumbaism, the gentleman and that, they all started to clap. And then when Muhammad Ali spoke, you know, political science for African people, man, and then they all stopped clapping. So yeah, man, it's they know what they're doing, brother, man. That political science of the non-African is very effective, and those who don't understand it will get swallowed up, and we're getting swallowed up, unfortunately.
You bring a very good point now, and let us unpack that, because I think there was one or two. How long is that one? Let me check. Hold on. Is that 1 minute or 1 hour? Let me see. Hold on. Let me see, because it might be like 1 hour. Or is it 1 minute?
60% of all Syrian.
All right, come on. I don't know why that's coming up, but hold on. Is that? Oh, that's one entire hour. I'm just. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I found the actual interview you're talking about. So those who don't know, basically many years ago in the 70s, there's a brother who co-invented funk music, very skillful funk artist called Sly Stone, and I think Michael Jackson got him his copyrights back. So a lot of things were said about Michael Jackson, but I was out. But anyway, this brother was on the show. Now, unfortunately, with the brother, he has struggled with drug addiction throughout all his life. And it's very ironic that you have a heavyweight champion who was very clean cut, talk about black people, doesn't drink, all this kind of stuff, very sober, and he gets no claps when he talks about black people do stuff. But when the unfortunate the brother who's clearly high on the show, and we wished him well then and today, he gets all the claps when he starts talking about, you know, focusing on Kumbaras and this kind of stuff. I think, hold on.
Every one of them has a question and answer period, and I explain that.
You know what I'm going to do, brothers? I'm going to put this show in the link. If you haven't seen it, it's like a 1 hour show, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was a particular bit in there where, and this is good. I think within the heat, Muhammad Ali said, brother, we shouldn't be arguing on TV. Like, you know, I don't want to come here on the European channel, whatever, to fight with a black man over helping black people, isn't it? But once again, it's inappropriate behavior. You see? Yeah. And some people have been culturally compromised to do this kind of behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is definitely something. If you guys get time, watch that. And like I said, black people working on black issues, and especially at a time like that. This is a time. Oh, you know, okay, this might be a better one. Hold on. There we go. So there we go. We got it here, right? So we're gonna look at inappropriate behavior. Thank you, brother Carl, for bringing it up. We're gonna see if I can share this. We've got 14 minutes, so let's see if we can listen and learn and listen. Share screen. Share screen. I want to say that's the right one. Stop share. Share screen. Let's see if we can listen and learn and listen. Case study. Where are we? You know, I hate when I do that. I put it on the wrong one. Let me put it on the right one here. Hold on. Copy, paste, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There it is. Another advert for war victims. It's not good. There we go. Let's press play. Let's find it. Here we go. There it is. Da da da. And 5, 4, 7, 2, go. Let's press play. Rewind.
Usually when people say things to you like our wives say to us, be careful when you go out in the car. Did she ever say before a fight, be careful not to get hurt? Never occurs. Does it ever concern you that you could be injured in that ring? Do you think about that at all?
So what I'm going to skip it to when the brother comes in. Hold on. There it is.
TV stations, all the legislation, the Ramadians, the Holocaust, all the land, everything is yours. So nothing in politics for us.
Oh, I'm going to rewind this. This might be a good bit.
We have prostitution problems in New York City mainly, and all I see is the black sisters. They lead all type of men, and they know politicians mentions it. We got dope problems, gang fighting on itself, a lack of love for self, no respect for women. We don't have no property.
Hold on, bro. That's like I said. We have to look at patterns. Brother Muhammad Ali. I hope you guys can hear it. Brother Muhammad Ali. He's listing out a history of challenges that black people go through in his community there, right? And a lot of this was obviously by the enemies of black people. And he's listing all these things out. And after listening to that, he's trying to now work with black people for a solution. But the same pattern you see, that normally if you love someone or you care for people as you say do, when they list these things out, you will be on their side. But we don't really see that. Let's just kind of listen.
We have no land. We worked 400 years to make this country the wealthiest country on the planet. None of you politicians talk about repaying us for the 400 years slave labor. You're not the ones who slaved us, who racist or rapists, but your people stole the property and left it with you, and we still get it because you keep it. All the TV stations, all the legislation, the Ramadians, the Holocaust, all the land, everything is yours. So there's nothing in politics for us. Yeah, but as a politician, couldn't you help the black? No, because I got to have the white man's flag over me, and I got to represent all. No, you don't. I disagree with that, Muhammad. There are a lot of blacks in Congress, and they don't have the white man's flag. I don't trust the government TV. No, I know. Let me talk to him. I'm talking to him. Yeah, I'm going to talk to everybody here. Well, I'm talking to him now.
So, okay, let's pause that. You see it? So now the brother's trying to say, look, we don't need to fight on TV. And brother Sly, unfortunately, I think he's also high there. He was high quite regularly. Drug addiction is something we need to work on in the community. But all power to him. But obviously now there's going to be a black. And what you're going to think, you will not get a white person who goes, well, hold on, guys. Why are you black people fighting? Everything Brother Muhammad said is correct. Why don't you work together? Nope. Instead, they will continue to pit against, as we saw on the last video we showed. But let's carry on.
I understand. This is our problem. We got to get together. And I don't think politics have a problem. I'm talking to brothers. No, but I want to. I'm serious, man. I'm not hoping. You got a flag over your head. We're going to change the color flag. Okay. That's a hell of a job. Yeah. Well, it is a job. We put no stuff that don't make no sense. We're talking about something else. I guess it makes no sense. Look at this and see what I'm talking about. Hope the people can watch this show and see what I'm talking about. They will. Black people understand. Black people do understand, brother. What I was saying was is that I don't think I get no office in this government, and they represent the country.
And that's another thing. I guess we want to look at the patterns as well. Like Brother Sly is an amazing musician. He invented funk, and he needs to be credited for it. Well done. But I don't know if he's the appropriate person to talk on issues of this kind of stuff. And I think we see this pattern, and we see this pattern a lot today when sport athletes and musicians ask political stuff. Now don't get me wrong, I'm saying every black person can have a political mind, but unfortunately if they haven't been if they don't have a kind of Pan-African or black Betterment or pro-black anything in their mind, then unfortunately everything they're going to say, they're going to parrot what non-black people want them to do, and that doesn't work in black people's best interest.
Which represents all the people. I'm not saying it's bad things for other people. I'm not saying I don't know that all people I date. But what you do, man, now wait a minute. First of all, to get into it, God helps himself. I got to help myself, to clean up myself, and love myself, and boost myself before I can go to help others. I don't have time to help white people because there's enough white people to help white people. I don't have enough time to help no Jews. There's enough millionaire Jews to help the Jews. There's enough black people to help black people. Right, that's what we want to do. Now you're talking. So my program is only worried about my people first. That's what I'm saying. And I can't be in no politics saying I'm just for the black people. It's not right.
So where do you live, my brother?
We'll be right back. Right after this message. Be right back.
Not too sure what the clap was about, but okay.
Shut up. This is where we cut away through the commercial breaks. A lot of things you said that I like to hear repeated. I like to hear repeat what you said about the Congresswoman from Texas.
Well, I want to say this to Hannah before, and we got a little side out of it going. One of the brightest minds in the United States Congress today is a freshman congresswoman from Texas, a black woman by the name of Barbara Jordan.
Okay, so once again, you're going to have some clapping. Hold on.
I think she can get.
Yeah, so once again, this is part of the strategy as well, where you have a black person in some kind of power that has been given from a white person, and you use them as a form of tokenism. And once again, if nothing they're doing is for black people's betterment, then I don't know the value that might be. But let's capture it.
I think she can get.
You notice that Muhammad Ali has complained about the truth that black people's gone through, and he gets no claps. Once again, we're saying that we have allies and friends. If you had allies and friends at this time, they'll be clapping at anything the brother was saying.
That's right.
Go with a group of British parliamentarians to talk about common problems, and I took her there. I asked her a special favor to go to this meeting.
Yeah, but he said,
and she was
people that have a lot to say.
Well, that's true, but there's a lot of white people that have a lot to say in Congress, but there only can be 435 congressmen at any given time. Well, the blacks now are getting elected, and let me say this, Barbara Jordan was elected from a constituency that doesn't have a majority of blacks.
Yeah, but what he's saying is that he didn't care about being elected.
Well, that's up to him to decide that. That's not for me to say, but I am saying that some black people are making a contribution in that field.
But isn't it time that we all live together?
Well, I don't think we can live sad to live in town.
So that is that thing there. Anytime they live together, this is like a romancing of like real life and stuff. And you kind of got that in the last panel I showed in the UK of time where Kumbaya all come together, but actually not listening to the demands and needs of black people who've gone through the worst. So once again, it's a pattern. It's never ended. Remember, collectively, black people have no friends. Let's go.
I don't think we can live segregated. I don't think you can segregate the Jews into one compartment, the blacks into another, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants into another, the Catholics into another. I think we're all here in this country, and we're going to have to live together and get along together. And your entertainment wouldn't go if nobody but blacks went to it, or paid, or got admissions. And your fights wouldn't reverse what they do if the whites didn't.
Okay, so this is the thing, yeah. They did that as well just now. They did it as well. So we all know that the world are consumers, yeah. They're never talking about someone wanting to buy a banana or someone wanting to buy a Lego brick or whatever it might be, right? Or a phone. We're talking about ownership. We're talking about communities coming together to create the products and benefit from the selling of those products, right?
That's right.
What you noticed, so this is like a form of technology here at the moment, but you notice when I played the last video that happened a few minutes ago, they were saying, well, if you guys create a Caribbean restaurant with Caribbean employers, you're happy to sell us stuff, but you don't want to hire us as your Caribbean cooks or whatever. So we don't want to buy your stuff. But we said, well, hold a minute. We go to Indian, Chinese restaurants all the time, and at no point are we demanding that we become your cooks and work for you.
Yeah.
Right? So once again, you have to see the patterns. Remember, this is like I said, sometimes black people, I think Malcolm X said it, they really feel that because I don't do something, they don't do something. But you gotta understand that some people have a different heart, a different mind. You see? They've been raised differently, and their survival mechanisms are superior to black people. And what do I mean by that? Meaning that they understand what they need to do to maintain dominance. And they've been thoroughly trained to do that. And what we saw was non-black people, as happened on the show now, getting on code. Getting on code. You see? So let's carry on listening.
White man come to here. We got 40 million black people that love is needed. he don't even know white artists. I just want to say, there's 40 million white people in this country. I'm just saying, I can't let you stand on TV and say that he would make it one for white people. Well, I'm not saying he wouldn't make it, but I'm saying he wouldn't make it as big as he did. Right, because I'm white people promote it.
Why is there a clap for that? So the brother was saying that he needs white people to thrive. Muhammad Ali said, no, there's enough black people for him to thrive with just black people. Not that he's promoting that, but he's saying he could. That should have got a clap, right? Because that is true. You know, you can thrive in your community, you know, but no clap for that.
What he's saying is that it does not make you big because white people come.
Congressman didn't say that. He said your country you wouldn't go as big. Nor would your fights. And no country would be if it wasn't for us.
And that should have been a clap. That should have been a clap. No clap for that.
Nothing if it wasn't for my people slaving and working for 400 years.
There you go. That sounds like one person clapping very loudly.
We built the country. That's right. We found all the walls. We were lit. We built it. And some of us were in on that. We want to give you some credit, Muhammad, but after all, you're 11 million out of 210 million, so you didn't do everything. The whites did something here. You did. Everybody made a contribution. You did do something. You killed off all the Indians, then you brought us over and robbed us.
Yeah, but what Mike's trying to say is that there's a way to say all of this without having any animosity.
Exactly. That's right.
I think we have to really stop and really appreciate Brother Muhammad Ali. I don't know if there's a greater sports speaker ever. I'm trying to think if there's any other sports speaker who got on TV and was that dedicated. So this is what you say you have a people's champion, where in the ring and out the ring, the man has. And I think with the current, it would be good if there was another like him, but he might have been one in a million. I reckon he is the most important sports athlete of all time.
Most definitely.
And the fact that he had that commitment back there, I give props to him. I also give props to the Nation of Islam. This shows you that having a black-centered ideology is important. So enough props to them, and enough props for them guiding the brother and defending the brother, because with boxing there's a lot of bias going on and people try to strong arm boxers to make them take dives and this kind of stuff, whatever. And I'm pretty certain that the Nation of Islam protected him from any form of intimidation that non-black people might want to do towards him.
That's right.
All power to them and all praise to them. Let's just carry on, isn't it? So now inappropriate behavior. Keep talking about animosity and this kind of stuff. That remember, the brother is talking about true facts, history of black people going through suffering and wanting to come together to fix it. This shouldn't be defined as animosity. The change of narrative that is definitely something to be reviewed.
That's why animosity. That's a very simplistic argument that we're having here. On the one hand, saying, why can't we all live together? Now we know that it's tough to live together. We know that there are animosities, and we know that there's back dues and back pay and back things that are.
Keep in mind that whenever, I don't know where this man's from, but whenever, Europeans and Jewish people and all over talking, they always talk about, there's a much of this going on, but actually it's really one-sided. Muhammad Ali's talking about black people being mistreated and no reparations, no acknowledgement, further mistreatment, and then people jump on and they talk about this, everyone, both sides. It's not both sides, it's very particular, and that's something you have to be aware as well. No accountability.
Oh, to people and not just the blacks, but it's not to women as well and to other men.
Okay, so this is a very, 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 it still goes on today very well. Whenever black people talk about black issues, someone, and including black people, will try to bring in women, disabled people, you name it, right? And this is an undermining of the needs and wants of black people, and it's a strategy. Please be aware of it.
It is not true.
If it doesn't happen by actual deliberate nature, then what it is it's by osmosis, and what it is we've trained everyone to believe that black people are so unworthy of attention that anytime a black person complains, you should just scoop their complaints of other people and then find a way to actually help those other people and other black people. Is this true? in America, when they have these things, they say is for the minorities, which they include gays, lesbians, and disabled. You tend to find that those things end up benefiting those groups more than black people. So we see there's a pattern.
Well, there's nothing simplistic. A man and his wife don't live together in perfect harmony all the time. It's any one thing. Sometimes they have problems. You take a house, you take a country, you kill off all the Indians, you kill off the blacks, and you give everything is yours. Man said, let's live together without giving up nothing. We see it.
Very 10 points for Muhammad Ali all the time. Like I was saying, the brothers, we said it a few weeks ago. When the Europeans and non-black people, the philosophies they make, that's for them. So if they want to talk about, what's it like? I'll make sure you're kumbaya and you're networking and you're with all kind of people. That's for them to fix themselves. That's for them to make themselves feel better, right? But they already have the resources in the collective. So that doesn't work in black people's collective best interest. So black people should, at that point, focus on black issues. And then when black people are on an equal level, then they might be able to practice these kind of other things. But until then, it isn't worth it.
Now you want peace. You got everything. You don't conquer the world. Now you want to be peaceful. But people ain't resting.
Yeah, but if somebody said, I only care for whites, we would label him by very ugly epithets. And if I said that.
Once again, this is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Once again, and this is, you have to watch out, brother. You have to keep watching out. It happened, the last panel's happening here. Where a white person then tries to equate the experiences of a black person similar to the appearance of a white person. You can define this as racism. This is an attempt to marginalize and undermine the true claims of a black person who is seeking solutions within their own group. And the starting philosophy is, I'm going to fix the black issues that the non-black people have caused. Now, by osmosis and by automation, the non-black person is saying, but that's racism, isn't it? You see? And that's what I'm saying. This is the strategy that we see time and time again. They're gonna say that, or they're gonna go flippant and angry, and then people are gonna get worried. As black people tend to do when non-black people lose their mind over trying to fix black issues. Be aware of it, have solutions for it, be strong with it, and be synchronized.
Nothing else. I would be labeled as an
I only care for the freedom and the unity of my people. Everybody else is lying.
Genius, absolute genius statement. The one clap, there's probably 2 black women and 1 black man in the crowd who are trying to give them extra claps, but unfortunately, the dominant society, I'm not going to clap for that amazing statement.
I'll tell you what, I bet you the Viet Cong, who we black people who love you and who let you go, who those who help fight, I bet you the Viet Cong is more citizens and can come here and put on a little suit and get more freedom to move in neighborhoods and put up business where Negroes can't.
I believe that.
No, that's not right.
I believe that.
They're under a dictatorship just like the Russians. The Japanese can, the Germans can. Everybody that's not American can go and do what Negroes can do. So quit being hypocrites on this TV. The whole world, the Negroes, the lowest, the most down, the most disrespected, and the less protected than anybody.
Yeah,
they ain't got nothing.
Remember this is the 70s. This is the 70s, and remember, no one is on Muhammad Ali's side. There, you see, he is listing truths. He's listing oppression. No one even cares to. Unfortunately, this behavior pattern we see today is slightly modified, but it's still there, and we try to highlight it. And once again, unfortunately, there are going to be unsynchronized black brothers and sisters, and we have to, part of the strategy, I would say, is let them know you're drawing a line in the sand and saying, sorry, brothers, we're only looking to work with black people who practice black Burma. You have to want to do this. You have to see a value in black woman, black man, black economics, this kind of stuff. If you keep talking this kumbaya stuff, you're only going to hold us back, you see? And I say, please don't get in an angry back and forth. Please just be straight. You got to hit and quit, yeah? Don't be talking trying to hit epic journeys and epic stories about kumbayaism and I've got a friend from this land. And okay, cool, that's nice. We're talking about what should black people be doing to find solutions, because this conversation will continue every 10 years as it has, because black people are not learning.
Well, what about the white man who can't pay his rent?
So now once again, we start. Muhammad Ali said that there is a marginalization of black people, that they are doing considerably worse in America, that the entire world knows about, and because of this, he's going to fix that because unfortunately, the non-black people are not helping him. And now the European on the panel, the white person is saying, yeah, well, what about poor white people? Once again, this is a form of confusion to try to depacitate the energy, to change it. Be wary of this. If they don't do this kind of stuff, they'll start crying and swearing like I just demonstrated on the last panel. Be wary of it. Once you're synchronized with black betterment, these techniques do not work. You see them coming from a mile away. But unfortunately, some of our brothers are very integrated in their own downfall, and they'll never.
Not all the poor are black. I know you guys are poor, right? Well, then I'm welcome to my black brothers. You look after your white brothers. That's what I said earlier. I didn't say hate. I don't hate nobody. What is help each other? Help yourself first. What is?
I don't know if there's like a medal we can make with his name on it. This Muhammad Ali is extremely solid. We should study some of his appearances because amazing stuff. I think brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Marcus Garvey, Muhammad Ali. I'm trying to think of Francis Cress Wilson without question. Neely Fuller Jr. We need to get a list of videos that should be like.
Lee as well. She was very her political science was great as well.
Oh yeah, of course. 100%. We need to collate all these brothers and sisters stuff, right? And literally just play some of their things. Really important. And the thing is, because the times change, like in the way people deliver things, it might not come as raw. So a lot of black people won't see the necessity of how to be aware, and then without them knowing, they'll start going along with the program that doesn't work in black people's collective best interest. So I don't know. It's we need to really practice discernment really well.
I would say, Brother Raven, for the youth, that they should definitely capitalize on how the black psychiatrists understood racism and how they put things in its place. They should start off with that. They'll get a good understanding of how to strategize psychologically when you're dealing with non-African people. And they need to also do homework in regards to what is specific to our struggle, to non-African people's struggle, that we can use to defend ourselves when they do say these types of languages. Understanding what collectivism is and applying that civilization was built upon collectivism, not on individualism. So whenever a non-African or unsynchronized African mentions individualism, you can always combat that with the proven evidence of collectivism.
Very true.
Well, I think the answer, if there is an answer, people know the truth. All this laughing and giggling, now you're talking about. Well, you laughing and giggling. TV time to tell me you laughing and giggling just like everybody. You see, the laughing and giggling, that is not phony. The laughing and giggling. I have a function here. My function is to entertain, make as many people out there happy as I possibly can. And man, I do it every day. That's your job. That's right. It's your job. Don't say it's phony because it's not phony. I don't have a phony bone in this body. You want to know why I'm not coming on giggling my time? I didn't say that. I said you look troubled. I didn't say why aren't you giggling?
It's very passive aggressive behavior from the European.
I'm always troubled.
Remember, the brother has come on and he's articulated the downfall of his people group, the constant struggle, and a longing to work within that group to find solutions. But yet, he is the enemy.
Not always, because I in a world full of hypocrites. If I wasn't who I was, I'd be somewhere else the rest of it. So I ain't got no time to be looking like I'm so happy. Yeah, but my brothers are catching hell and catching hell. Yeah, that's right. And all you hypocrites and all you hypocrites yourself. Well, what's the answer? The answer is that, it's easy to sit back and call everybody else in the world a hypocrite. I'm not going to call anybody. I think any white person, white person in this audience is, when I tell the truth, my people ain't nothing but a hypocrite. I don't hate black people, and I don't see. Well, I don't dislike them, and I don't see why you should dislike them. You give it the government and tell them.
So once again, racism being practiced there. He's made it very clear he's not talking about disliking. He's talking about working with black people to fix the issues that were forced upon them by non-black people, and yet they're trying to create the narrative that he hates white people. He never said that once. This is a form of racism.
Get together and unite and do something.
Once again, just like I said, it's a chipping away of a person's armor, repainting pictures, having everyone look at Muhammad Ali as the bad guy, the nutcase, the violent one, and then of course you then have. Unfortunately, they're going to use Brother Sly as the kind of token, happy-go-lucky kind of Negro, the good Negro, that kind of stuff. And this is the pattern. I think Frances Cress Wilson, she did say she's very troubled by black people going on TV shows, and she recommends that only one go at a time because unfortunately, when you have multiple, you tend to find most of the black people arguing. And this was also the case with maybe the show I was on before, where when you have more than one, then it might become harder to actually manage because of the mindset and that kind of stuff.
We told them to get together, put your face, your complexion to the White House, and repay the black people for all the work they have done, all the slavery. Get out, brother.
So once again, the brother's inappropriate behavior there, trying to turn everything to a funny joke. Fair enough, he's probably high on a drug, and we always want to wish him well. But when you break down what this is, it's all I can say is Brother Muhammad Ali held himself very well, and he should be studied.
Do something, repay. Well, maybe we ought to start back in Africa with the tribal chiefs who sold the slaves. They didn't say you the first place. I don't mean you can't go back to rectify.
So once again, try and look to push blame. That old chestnut, the African chiefs who sold you, that kind of stuff. Not going to talk about the systems that they sold them into. Not going to talk about who benefited from that. Once again, collectively, black people have no friends, but we know this.
They didn't say you can't do it. They didn't sell you the lynchers. Let's be accurate. They didn't sell you the burners.
Man, if ever there was a paradigm of what to do and what not to do as black people on TV, I think this show is a case study, and I think it's gold. And I think we should literally, we should show two brilliant people. We have one person who invented funk, and one person who was the greatest boxer of all time. Unfortunately, one of them, their mind was synchronized with black people, and the other one was synchronized with drugs. So we kind of need to show that even though both these brothers are brilliant in what they've done, their achievements, unfortunately, we need to say, okay, when we go on TV, who do we want to act more like? When we leave this conversation, if we want to do something for black people, do we go towards Brother Sly or do we go towards Brother Muhammad? And that's what I challenge all the public speakers to think about, right? If you see black people talking, who do you walk towards at the end if your goal is for black people to prosper? And if you're a speaker, if they're not walking towards you, you should count that as a fail. Unfortunately, the show I just came from, I suspect that I will always walk away with the most black people because all I'm talking about is solution-based activities that can make black people prosper. You see?
That's right.
All right. So family, that we have big thanks to Brother Kel for bringing up that for us to case study that Muhammad Ali and Sly Johnson for it's not Sly Johnson. That's the Sly and the Family Stone. Sly Johnson. For us to case study that. For those who are joining, we are tackling the topic of, let's share this, share, of what we're deeming as inappropriate behavior and the many forms it takes when black people are trying to find solutions. People practice inappropriate behaviors. For those who don't know, what started this conversation was a sister who's in the Senate in the States. She was trying to get awareness and votes, and she thought it would be the best idea to do upside down twerk on the beach to get attention. And we're saying that some things are worth dignity. I believe one of the values is dignity. If we look, I would say that when we there we go. So when we practice into black people, let us remember dignity is a very important one. And I'm not too sure if that practice there, in its form of how it was doing, was the best dignified thing to do. Could be wrong, but I suspect not so much. But
I would say as well, Brother Raven, from a political analysis, is that it's be better for the synchronized African to attack the unsynchronized Africans' unsynchronized behavior instead of any form of defects they have, or any form of anything emotional that has nothing to do with their unsynchronization. That will help to keep them in that state and remind them, instead of using other stuff. I've noticed, when we get into certain types of debates, we start talking about, oh, you look like this, or you did this, that. But the topic is unsynchronized. Attack the unsynchronization behavior, and then lure them out by complimenting them as the African is what we want to try and do.
very, very good point. We and 100%, 10%. We just saw a video of brother Sly Johnson, Sly and the Family Stone, and Muhammad Ali, and we acknowledge that both of these brothers are exceptionally talented, exceptionally skillful. But unfortunately, one was their behavior was unsynchronized, and we called it out. And also, we were concerned about the drug addiction that might be influencing, and we called it out and wish for betterment from him and that kind of stuff. But we definitely don't want to name call and undermine people and make people feel little or belittle them. We want to talk about the behavioral practice, and this sister is no different. Very intelligent sister, very wonderful sister. She's very skillful in the things she does. We're just saying that we want you to look after yourself best, and not to be used by the mainstream media to belittle the qualities you have.
That's right.
You see? There you go. Where's this thing? So, family, feel free. We're on the panel of Inappropriate Behavior today, on the 95th show. We're joined by Brother Kel, a very great contributor, as we see. If you feel you want to add anything to the inappropriate topic, let us know. You're more than welcome. I've placed the link in there. We start by looking at some videos. We also looked at some of the videos with some brothers and sisters who, when when people were protesting about the unjust killings of black men, we were talking about maybe try to refrain from dancing and singing and this kind of stuff. Maybe have a place for that. Big up, Brother Ultra. Welcome to the panel.
Big up,
big up Raven.
Big up
Raven. Big up KO. Come on. Big up the family in the chat each and every time. Come on. Sorry, Raven, I didn't hear what you said when you said we have to refrain from something. I was logging in.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't hear it. Sorry. What was it, like swearing and stuff?
Just from this panel, when we're trying to find solutions, we want to practice discipline, dedication, discernment, and dignity, and that also not mistreating black people with names. So Brother Kel was saying that unfortunately, a lot of the brothers have been conditioned to do things that ain't in our best interest. So rather than criticize their physicalness or their mindset as we see it, their behavioral pattern, the unsynchronized behavior, talk about what they're doing and why they're doing it, and also remind to compliment them on their achievements and their skills, because people might be controlled in certain ways to do things that's not in their best interest. It doesn't mean that they're not skillful or kind people. It just means that some of they're doing, it doesn't work in our collective best interest or their individual best interest. So we highlight that.
All right, I'm not going to lie to you, even. I understand the rules and I will adhere to them where possible. However, I don't have the answers to solve all of our issues. However, I do believe, in my opinion, something needs to be done in regards to income inequality, mental health, and single parent households. Those three issues for me are the most important issues in the community as I see it. Now, I'm not saying that those are the most important. I'm saying, in my opinion, these are three things that are not being addressed, need to be, and if these things were addressed, we would see an almost immediate change in our community. However, one problem I really, really have is religion. In my opinion, religion is the most divisive thing that has ever happened to Black African Caribbean people. None, like, and when I say religion, I mean specifically the religions that were introduced to us by non-Africans. And if you look today, if you look at the divisiveness that these specific faiths bring amongst us, I'm not sure how we, like, the problems that you're trying to overcome, Raven, are an uphill battle that is so epic. I don't even know where to start. And I said it in the chat, Raven, I've spoken to people on YouTube from the Black community who would tell me and everybody else publicly that they are ex-religion before they're Black.
I hear that.
Now I'm not gonna lie. That's, I mean, don't get me wrong. That's all fine and dandy for you to do that. I ain't gonna ridicule you, but my thing is, no, I'm gonna. It's that to me is insane, because I'm sorry, for thousands of years, Raven and Kel, Black people have been doing all the other people's religions that were introduced to them for thousands of years, and we are no better for it. And to continue to perpetuate these myths that, A, we can't prove are actually real, and two, after thousands of years of proof of it not working, for us to continue to do it is crazy. So that means we need to, like, start with the mind. We need to refocus the mind. There needs to be some sort of structure or philosophy in place, because it seems like some people are just lost without structure.
Right.
And if that's given to people by ideas that are not from us, that's fine. And I understand that these things give you hope and peace and purpose. I get that, but it's not working.
Right.
And for
So,
you to, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I hear that. So the way I say is this: the whole religious thing. We have to understand that religion plays a big part of many people's lives, and I think the angle I would approach what you're saying from me personally is the religion they're practicing? Are they practicing it from a Black from a Black centered or Afro-centered standpoint? Because what you're saying is there are, say, Europeans who have taken Middle Eastern and African religions and they've Europeanized them, right? And they've made it work for them in their philosophies. And
Arabized them as well.
Of course. So what I'm saying is, by placing their people at the center of this philosophy, they use it as a form of empowerment to motivate and move forward. So I'm saying, whatever faith group you're doing, if you still have Afrocentricity at the heart of it, Black women at the heart of it, and you do it from that angle, then you can use any kind of thing as a tool to empower yourself. But unfortunately, brother, you are talking about the unsynchronized African who, even if they wasn't religious, so let's just say that they weren't whatever faith you're describing, they will find something else. They will find a gentleman's club or a vegan group or a football team to synchronize with, to say, I ain't that, I'm a football player. There'll be anything that takes them out of the fold of Blackness, yeah? Because once again, you just saw Muhammad Ali rated one of the greatest artists of all sport artists of all time, beloved by so many, and even he was on a channel being belittled and undermined, and people never clap into the logic he was saying. So if brothers and sisters are seeing that everywhere they go, they're seeing mistreatment, they're seeing that Black people are not prospering, then you're gonna develop a phobia. I just came from a panel, brother, where every time a Black person tried to be constructive, another Black person would shoot it down and say, we can't do anything. We have to be for other people. This is learned behavior, and they will use any tool, to maintain it. And unfortunately, brother, I reckon the religious groups you're describing, they're in that same boat where they're using these faiths as a shield to hide their unsynchronicity. They're using it as in remove it, and they'll use something else.
But you see, that's the thing. This is what I mean, Raven. If I'm honest with you, yeah, the thing is, I'm talking specifically about the people on YouTube, like, because in real life, you like I'm from a Jamaican household, right, and the generations go fairly far back, right. So I'm from a place where white Jesus was on the wall, okay, and whilst I I I understand why people love the idea of Jesus. He hasn't helped black people, right? So, like, if you're doing the same thing over and over again and it ain't working, you need to try something else, black people, right? I think the revolution that I believe you're looking for, Raven, starts in the mind.
Yes.
It starts in the mind, and I'm telling you, the the divisiveness caused by this religion, even if these people are stunting and fronting and using the religion to hide and to cover their flaws and their personality defects, it's still people like these religions get people to say crazy things, Raven, and they turn their brains off because of the religion. And you mentioned, wait, hang on a second, my black brother, maybe don't do that, and they'll give you all the reasons why they can't.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just like I tell you, Raven, I'm gonna kind of just like slide out, right? But my contribution to the show today is this, Raven. You have an uphill battle, my brother, and where possible, I will indeed support, especially any black constructive idea institution. I will always support it. However, just understand that the revolution you're looking for starts with the mind. It starts there. Also, income inequality, mental health, and single parent households. Those issues need to be addressed. Those four things. And like, if you started there, you'd see an immediate change.
It's kind of interesting you said that, brother Ultra, because I was speaking to a lady. I know her family, a brilliant lady. She runs a psychiatrist institution, and it's called anrelax.net. In fact, I was gonna post it in now. And that brilliant woman name's Dawn Walters, and she deals with the mental health and helping out the single mothers and single fathers and etc. And she's brilliant, in these things. And I made a conversation with her, and gonna put it on the Brother Raven's show actually as we were speaking. And she deals with all these things. You could phone her. There'll be a charge, of course, but at the same time, a holistic mindset is she's dealing with that. She deals with restoring the mind, and it's a black-owned institution. So I do agree with you that, brother. But also, as I said, because I'm coming from a background of, especially my parents, of psychiatry, etc., brother. That I notice how I always talk about the dopamines, brother. Like everyone's always say, oh, well, why is he always talking about the dopamines? Because the dopamines, brother, if you can control your dopamines to not make the brain feel like it needs to survive on certain types of decisions or journeys you want, if you can control that, then you're definitely restoring the mind back. And then you can tackle the religion, how you use the religion properly. Because one thing I know is, brother, is that I more like to focus on Pan-Africanist beliefs and stuff, because the religion, it's been unfortunately capitalized by non-African people. But when you look at those religions, brother, the Abrahamic, I've noticed all those prophets and messengers and stuff, right? They were all revolutionary. They all went against the system. So it's a contradiction. Why don't we, if you're in that Abrahamic faith, why don't you go against the system were the men that.
Oh, I think brother Cal, you guys still there?
Yeah, I'm here, but Kel cut off. But
Okay.
just to respond to his point, Kel, the reason why they can't is because the way the faith system is set up is you're a subservient to the supernatural deity, and you're not allowed to ask questions. In fact, it suppresses, in my subjective opinion, your ability to think outside of that paradigm, and that's a mistake. Like, there's a book called Think Like a White Man. I urge you to read it, not to just like because of the title. No, I'm telling you, just read other things. Do you know what I mean? Don't get all your information from a singular source, man. That is not how your brain will be filled. You cannot get an objective view if you're only looking in one direction. It's crazy. Anyone that can drive a car understands that you don't just look straight ahead. Oh, my wife's calling me.
I think your microphone's gone backwards, brother Ultra. But I would say, I think we want to welcome Empress Cushy to the show. Welcome, Empress.
What's up, bro?
What's
What's up, brothers? I think Ultra dropped out.
Yeah. Did you want to add to that, sister?
Well, I was clicking in, so it's you kind of miss. You're coming on, so I don't really know the last thing that got said or what. I came in while Brother Ultra was talking, so
he made some good points, man.
Yeah, he made some good points that I could hear. Definitely, yeah. I mean, I agree with him. I think he said that it's family and finance, and I think his third was religion. So I definitely think that's fundamental points that we need to work on. I definitely wanted to make sure I take the opportunity to say congratulations on your 95th show. So I definitely wanted to come up and bless on that. So, yeah.
Thank you, sister. And like I said, this show would be nothing without the contributors such as yourselves who come in and give good direction and dedication, and we appreciate it. We appreciate it very much so. I think, unfortunately, Brother Ultra's connection might have taken off, but you mentioned something about religion. It's something I did want to mention. I think I've mentioned him before, and one thing I tried to show this analogy, this kind of like this image here is, we imagine that this is the person, the man or woman, right? They exist as a person. They have a religion that they have, and then they also have lifestyles, right? The analogy I give is, imagine we have a phone, and imagine we have an operating system on that phone, and on the operating system we have applications, right? So that kind of makes sense. So how I envision the lifestyle is like an application. So you're gonna have many people who have their own unique religion of what guides them left and right, up and down, and tells them the history of the world, this kind of stuff. But within their religion, within their mindset, within their brain computer, they also have a lifestyle, like an app that sits on it. And that lifestyle of Black Betterment or Pan-Africanism or anything like that is going to guide them towards Afro-centeredness, right? Community-led initiatives, and that's the idea. I'm not necessarily here to change a person's religion. This is part of a pillar of someone's upbringing. It's also their faith, and it's their intimate belief. So I would never say that. But what I would say is, unfortunately, you will find many non-Black people who will use religion as a weapon to control Black people, and they will give them their own interpretation of that religion to make sure that Black people remain subservient. And we see it week to week.
I don't know if you've done a show on it, Brother Raven, but we do need to, if you could next week, do a show on religion, and we can break down with strategic tactics how an African descendant can maneuver in a religion, even though there are those who are trying to diffuse them away from Betterment. I don't mind helping out with these strategies, because it's, but we should definitely do a show, and I will come up and definitely enforce certain strategy that will help the African descendant, whether he's in the Abrahamic faith or whatever religion, to be able to combat, because it is very aggressive. I can imagine what the brother's saying, and because your blueprint, what you got here, brother, it's needed definitely. At the same time, what brother Ultra was saying is that because our dopamines, brother, is linked towards the concept of whiteness, right? Is that that mindset will leak out of the unsynchronized African, and then that whole format, what you got there, brother, will be all dismantled due to the fact of him thinking about what about the non-African people, the whiteness. So I think next week we should do a show on religion and how to help the African maneuver while he's in the Abrahamic phase or whatever religion, and I'll definitely help out with that.
Let me write that down. And also, the brother did mention things where there are some quicker solutions in the sense of trying to make your approach being Afro-centered. So, for example, I think the brother mentioned that he will go to his aunt's and there's a lot of pictures of European Jesus, and maybe the solution of that is just to give them a picture of Ethiopian Jesus. Just that might be that's a solution, just because, for example, the images of the Ethiopian, the Christians and stuff, they're all black, they're all Ethiopian, they've got afros and stuff. So at least that way, from an optic standpoint, you're seeing a visual that more represents the Africanity of a person. But definitely a good topic, and yeah, why not? I'll write that.
Because it is a problem, brother. I've noticed, like, I've been on panels and obviously, activism with family members. I've noticed the moment a non-African person starts to mention something to do with the religion, it does make the African descendant become very self-conscious, and then they start to kind of shy away, and then it's almost as if they've been swallowed up by these ridiculous strategies that the non-Africans don't even believe in themselves. So as I said, we have to tackle it. Well, brother, I'm posting that black-owned therapy business. If you could put that in with the audience, that if they need any help, the single mothers, the single fathers, the children, there's a facility, and this is based in London, even though she's from the Midlands, and she's definitely synchronized as well. So
Can I post this in the actual forum?
Yeah, but that's why I put it in there, 'cause I don't know how to do it myself.
Yeah.
I put it in the private.
So, brothers, I'm putting it there for you guys to click on. I'm putting it there. So just explain again so the brothers can the links there. Just let them know. So here it is. Well, tell them a bit more, Brother Cal, so they understand.
Yeah, it's called Welcome to and Relax psychotherapy, and it's an African descendant by the name of Dawn Walters. She's based in London, but she's from the Midlands, and she does wonderful. She's helped out many people around the world, but basically it's holistic in helping out with phobias, depression, post-traumatic disorder, and also slavery disorder. She come back to all these things. She's a brilliant woman, and it's something that we need in our community. Definitely we need to collect the black psychiatrists, because as I always believe, Raven, if the non-African people base racism and psychological tactics like the Willie Lynch and etc., then we definitely need our black psychiatrists to combat that, which we had and have anyway. So definitely it's the way forward.
Definitely. Sister Christian, is there anything you would like to add or just bring up as a
I mean, with the religion aspect, I just understand that fundamentally religion is a very personal relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be anyway, and it's something that it should be sacred and respected. But like many people have said, it's what has been done and what has been created out of it now. But I understand that some people hold it very dear to their heart. Some people need religion basically to give them meaning, to give them worth, to give them structure. It goes deep for some people. So I understand that it's something very, very personal, right? So that's why I tend to not want to offend. And to be honest with you, I don't see us as I expect us to be what would be called deemed religious now, because we're very spiritual people anyway. So it's just understanding that you can have your belief and still do for your own. I didn't understand where that became questionable, if that made sense. The Like what someone said here, like the people that I've known through their own religious faiths. I've been in venues where I've seen every faith, but the fundamental point of business was to help Black people, and their religion was respected, and it wasn't even a real topic of conversation. The topic of conversation was to get down to business, and I think that should just be it going forward. Yeah.
Someone in the comment mentioned, but they were saying that why do you think white people use religion against us? And what I've done, Brother Raymond, I've posted in the private chat. That individual or the collective needs to read the book on the destruction of the Black civilization by William Chancellor. It's a very, very great book to understand how they use the religion to dismantle African people. If you could post that in there, Brother Raven, it would be a virtue, brother.
Yeah, I don't think you. But I've got the book, so I can post the link.
Okay, that's even yeah.
It's funny. Let me not post that link here because I think someone's even just put it online. But I kind of I don't want to because he's selling it. I don't want to give that up. So let me
Yeah. It is on Amazon, but it'd be better if there was a Black website. If you know any.
Although a lot of the sellers on Amazon sell it are actually a Black business who sell through Amazon. But,
yeah, exactly. It's just like it's just a portal. It's just a selling portal.
They have to pay like £1, but generally it's book. So what I'm going to do, families, I'm going to post a link to that great book there. Hold on. Where are we? We're here. So this is the book. It's on Amazon. Go support your local Black. Once you see what it looks like, go to your local vendors or buy directly from them. Or if you have to use Amazon through the Black vendors who are using Amazon as a way to communicate with the world. One day we shall work and make a Black-owned Amazon version called. Well, Amazon would be the perfect name for it, but what would be a good name for a Black-owned Amazon? That's interesting. A homework exercise. Yeah, that'd be interesting. What is there any famous Black Amazon stories? As in, I'm wondering. I don't know. Who knows?
Amazon. You probably have the Aztecs. Then if you go down that way, it's gonna have to. David Imhotep, brilliant man. He explains the Africans were in America first. If it's based upon that blueprint, then we could definitely bring out the best. If you're gonna use the word Amazon or something,
Yeah.
So, because I didn't see the last panel that you guys went on, and I was in and out of when you showed the clip. On the was it a matter of Black businesses then, and it was just that Black people should not be helping Black people in business, because what comes to mind in a clip that I wanted to say, I forgot to post on the thing, that when we went on to when Brother COE and we did our presentation just before COVID hit, in regards to what was doing with co-unity spend. And there was a lot of feedback back from them when we did that live. I don't know if you remember, so you could have possibly have used that as well, just to see how familiar, that if it's exactly the same kinds of pushback we got, if that makes sense. Because I just find it fascinating that, I don't know because I wasn't listening to it, but it seems that around the business side is when things started getting triggered. And
Yes, yes. A very good pattern there. Just to explain what we were talking, I was talking to a group of brothers on Brother Jedi's panel, and I think when it came down to mentioning about economics and doing things with the group, you had the non-black people disagreeing with such things. One was even heavily triggered, even sweared and name called and this kind of stuff. And naturally, there was a hullabaloo by the black people trying to, get order and maybe appease the tears of non-black people and stuff. And yeah, it was almost like clockwork, and it was interesting. The same pattern that we saw with Brother Muhammad Ali, where we start the conversation with acknowledging the shortcomings and underdevelopment of black people, and then seeing the value in working together to compete at the rate that other people groups do. Yet in that there is no sympathy, there's no claps, there's no well done. There's well, if you tell me that you're happy for me to buy things from you but not work with you, yeah, and then it's that kind of thing. And then we go, well, if we're talking about a Caribbean restaurant, we understand there's Indian restaurants. Now we want to make a Caribbean restaurant. Why are you objecting? And once again,
was there an Indian man there? Did you say
there was an Indian man, a white man from Ireland, and
no?
a white.
He agreed with the fact because obviously with Indian restaurants and the amount of Indian.
He agreed with the Indian. He agreed with the Indian restaurant, these kinds of things, but he disagreed with black people coming together to find solutions. He kind of parroted. There was other unsynchronized black people indirectly on the panels who were saying things like, "Oh well, we're in a system where you've got a network of people. You can't do things." We've heard it before, that kind of stuff. And that's why I keep saying that the most important thing, whenever you talk to black people who are dedicated to being unsynchronized, and they almost painted a picture of what the values of not doing anything, you have to at that minute draw a line in the sand and say, brother, much love for you, but we're looking for the elite, creative, dedicated few who are going to influence the few more, who are then going to influence the masses. Like, you got to let them know that, unfortunately, you're talking so unsynchronous, you're so against what we're talking about, where we shouldn't actually be talking. Like, we should, it doesn't make any sense for one person to be solution based and one person to be stagnant, one position based, or where we're at based, where it might be, right? Stagnant and stuff, right? And yet we kind of entertain the naysayers. And that's why I keep saying that. I think a few weeks ago we had a naysayer who would pass by, and we accused him of trolling. And I suspect he was trolling, but just knowing how to deal with people, like, let them know that actually your words take you out of the fold. Like, you shouldn't feel comfortable to be amongst black people and constantly talk about doing nothing and giving false analogies about, well, everything's very fine, and well, in my household I'm a millionaire and I've got 20 this kind. It's like, well done for you, brother. And we give you the analogy of Pele and Michael Jordan, that alone you are the greatest, but as a collective team, Pele can't win against 11 other professionals. He needs 10 other people to work with him, and your behavior pattern is unsynchronized. But yeah, but we are talking about we're talking about inappropriate behavior from those kind of behaviors, as well as black people and and all of them getting together on code to make sure that black people do what is being done at the moment and don't try to practice black economics. And what I showed the video, it was clockwork. They didn't say things directly here and there, but the same outcome: the crying, the swearing, the name calling, the laughing. There's one Asian brother, after a while, he said, well, these guys are crackpots, whatever. Like, well, I talk to other black people, and they're never going to take this foolish stuff serious. So this is about black people.
Wow.
Yeah, see, this is about black people fixing black business and stuff like that, right? So, yeah, well, good. I think the Asian brother might be listening, so he can confirm. Yeah, I think he's followed the stream, so he can confirm with this. Now, unfortunately, it's hard to tell whether someone is trolling or they're genuine, but I think the philosophy that is important for black people is collectively, black people have no friends. They have no friends. Whenever you start thinking that black people have collective friends because you have an individual person you met in jail, or you met on bail, or you met when you're around the girl, or whatever it might be, you're equating to a collective group makes no sense. And you can see, like when we showed the example of Brother Muhammad Ali, the Europeans in the crowd and the Europeans on the show all got on code. Do not clap when man is talking about anything to do with uplifting black people. Do not clap when he holds us accountable. Do not do that. And then when someone else mentions something else, clap for that person. Clap for the black person who's on the panel who's intoxicated and talking about all come together, zippity doo dah, that kind of stuff.
Not intoxicated. Oh my God.
Yeah. But and this is the kind of behavior pattern we see. But once again, the most important thing is to be aware of it and to not be triggered by it.
Let me ask you a question then, bro. Do you think that we should even be having these kind of discussions with people who have that mindset in regards to black betterment?
No. Yes and no. What I think there's a value, and this might be controversial. So if you are in an environment, because the thing is, people are going to go and they're going to debate stuff, and we expect conversations to flow. But to let people know that actually, I'm not thinking of you in this solution. The role you play isn't in the thing I'm doing. Yeah, I'm looking to find other like-minded black people who are going to find solutions. And what we can't have is a person who's constantly talking about kumbayarism. I've got this great white girlfriend. I've got this great Asian friend. I want to work in their business. I want to. It's like that's all good, right? But that doesn't come. That there's no leadership skills there. There's no accountability there. That is complete embracement of subservience. And what has to have happen is the elite of black people, the small elite of black people, have to come together, and make helping black people so amazing, so the option to do that those individuals are almost embarrassed to speak such a way. We're so defeated as a people that, like I said, people say with this willful glee, this uncontrollable willful glee of not doing anything and dismantling black betterment. We're so disorganized in our priorities that people feel good. Like I said, blessed the brother of a couple of weeks ago, but there was a black brother who always likes to make the joke that if I'm never giving my money to any black things, and he wanted the camera to know that. He wanted them to know. And for him, something was achieved. This is great that you now know I will never give money to anything black. I don't trust black people. You see, what I'm saying is this is a defeated mind state, and you don't see it anywhere else. And once again,
I hear that, but I get that within our community. But my question was about this guy that we're talking about who's not even within our community. So felt the need to come into the conversation and then to apparently tell you that black people are not even care about black betterment, like he even has a say.
The thing is,
what we have to give them credence to keep speaking about.
Here's what it is.
A place that we've agreed that they don't have no place in speaking yet. If you're conducting a conversation with them, just like now they think the need to come on the chat and talk when they're irrelevant.
The thing is they are relevant. But here's what it is. Unfortunately, Speaker's Corner is a perfect example of the outreach, right? And what I mean by that is there's going to be so many wonderful people who out there who are going to see Speaker's Corner and they're going to see certain synchronized behavior and feel connected to it and want to reach out, right? But unfortunately, you have to go out into the normal world and come across these behavioral patterns to reach that one brilliant person. And like I said, that's why having a codified way of communicating is the best way to be. But unfortunately, some of us are going to have to go out in the world and go on these panels where the rule sets say everyone can come along and everyone's opinions matters and stuff, because in that environment, there's a small percentage of people who can do so much wonders for us, but they just don't know how to connect. Every time I go out to Speaker's Corner, I go on a certain panel, I always get a direct message saying, brother, I saw what you're saying, bro. Where do I go to do this? I go, give me a number, brother, let me sort that out. All right, cool. Come to this thing on Tuesdays, Fridays, is what we do. But you wouldn't have met with them in the circles because we have a small circle, you see? So that's the strategy. That's the strategy there. You're gonna interact with the anti-black non-black trolls. The anti-black non-black trolls, and that's just part of the game. But what I'm saying is how we react to them is important. Crying, sobbing, and rolling the floor is a no-no.
I mean, like I said, I hear your point of view, bro. Mine was just not so much on the other brothers that you're talking about, because obviously I can't talk on it. I wasn't watching a panel, but you know, the individual that's not from the community. It's just, you know, it just shows when you like the saying goes, you give it inch to take a mile. So
of course.
But this is the thing, beloved sister Kushti, is that because our community are so unsynchronized, that we allow the non-Africans to have a say and dictate. Like I was listening to the last clip, what Brother Raven put on, and the non-African, you know, is very comfortable in relying on the strategy of, because they're so disorganized, they will never have a solution to liberate themselves. And if one of them does say something synchronized from their collective, I can always say, well, I was speaking to other black people, and they said that it's you know, a bunch of rubbish. This is how comfortable they are in the political science, that we are so disorganized, which is why I rate Brother Raven's slogan, is that we're definitely inadequate. And he's right, man. The fact that they can have confidence in relying that we're going to do some form of disorganization and we're not going to synchronize one another, that alone tells us that we have to be very politically educated when you come back in the warfare with non-African people.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. There's never been a case in history where they have not proven that, and it's not going to stop. So, you know, I mean, I hear it. Do you know what I mean? There's not one way to skin a cat, and my black betterment is as long as you know, there's not one way to skin a cat. You know, I'll leave it at that. But I was going to say something else. It might be a bit controversial, as Baraka likes to say before he's going to drop something in. So brace yourself, brothers. But when you was talking about the way people, I think it's like inappropriate behaviour, but it was tricky for me because some of them stuff, which is so funny that you did, you might have known it, and that's probably why it prompted you to do it, but the sentence, it just came down that, you know, that police officer, that so-called police officer, got 21 years. But it's I don't know, because there's inappropriate behavior and then there's reaction to me. So twerking purposely for whatever purpose for votes is purposely done. And then watching a man literally take his last breath, and then a reaction to that is another. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel that I understand that, and I agree that some of the stuff, like the hug thing, you know, I don't agree with giving out hugs or whatever. That was ridiculous to me. But sometimes, and this is what I've said before in regards to femininity for women, black women as well, it's like, I just want to word this correctly, because I feel that if someone wants to express how they're feeling through art, should we necessarily say that's the wrong thing to do?
No. To be honest,
if you're artistic, and the best way you can, like, some of the best things that we've given has been through our expression in what a person masters in, you know?
Yeah,
so,
no.
Yeah, and I feel that
let me get covered.
Yeah,
sorry. Let me get, because what I was trying to say is, art is one of the best expressions anyway. So you'll find people make movies, songs, dance about it, but timing is important. And I think with black people, timing is always problematic. So, for example, the timing of forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you hit me. I agree with you on that.
Like the victim's body might not even be buried, and we're already talking about forgiveness. Yeah, it's like we haven't even found the culprits who done it, but you want to forgive. You know, so I'm like, okay, timing. Yeah. Let's forgive them after everyone has received their justice and time has passed, and we've had time to reflect. Not before the body is still warm. Yeah, dancing, yes, that's cool. But I'm saying, if the brother's just been murdered and your thing is to go to police then and dance, it's like, well, there is a serious nature that we're trying to deal with. And I feel in America particularly, and also England and stuff, when you have politicians who know they can go to the black community, they can dance, they can
Yeah.
sing, they can blow the
Yeah.
trumpet, they can take out pepper from their
But
bag.
this is what I'm saying, bro, about. But this is what I'm saying when they manipulate.
Of course.
We know that everything we do, they will manipulate it. So I get what you're meaning, that they will come over and then, like, you know, typical carnival, you'll start seeing a police officer start whining and out, you know, it's great to see and we love the police. I get it. They know what their tactics to use it. But does that still mean that fundamental what it is maybe enrooted in us? Maybe that's a form of expression, you know, dance and
I hear that.
And I'm not saying that the next time something happens, I want to see Rosa dancing. I don't even want that to be the fundamental thing. But
this is not dogmatic. This is not saying that when something bad happens, a creative expression is wrong. It is literally saying timing, right? It's talking about timing, and what is most appropriate at that particular time. If performative actions are the only thing black people have to offer, then you like, unfortunately, sometimes what you see as well, you also then start seeing the what's the word, the opportunist stuff, where I think, I mean, not to disparage brother Michael Jackson's father, unfortunately, but there was a time where Michael Jackson passed, and the father was at the TV funeral, I think it was, or something, and he decided to promote his new hip hop band. And it's like, well, that isn't appropriate to at the funeral of your son to promote the album of your new signed band.
That's totally different from what I'm saying, and I can agree.
No, but what I'm saying is understanding understanding how some of these performative things happen. Some things happen because of that nature, as in I'm trying to promote stuff. Stuff happen because really we haven't got a priority metric in our mind of what comes first when someone is murdered. Dancing and singing, justice. You see, once the justice has been achieved, let's sing about it. Let's rap about it, right? But right now, while the man is on the floor, let's not dance around him. Let's call the ambulance.
But you're just but you know, I'm not saying that, bro. I
know
don't
you're
not articulating what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, as a people, there's not a uniform that we have to conform to show our upset or anger towards something.
The music is just.
Are you seeing this, sister? Are you seeing this? Wonderful choreography.
All right, Elu, if you're gonna do that, bro, then I'm just gonna let you have it, because
no,
I'll let you have it, because what I'm saying is standing as a single man and doing crunk dance in a row is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, although his crunk dance, I will say, is brilliant, right? Go on for it. What I'm saying is that I'm just saying that what we are, the language should be more of what we want. Right. So what I'm saying is, no one's saying that. I'm not saying that a bunch of people should go turn up and start dancing. What I'm saying is, if we have an innate way of us that are artistic about us, I don't think that there's a problem with that being represented there, as well as what needs to be there as well. Do you know what I mean? Right. So that's what
I hear that. But remember,
you see something like the New Zealand, I think it's the New Zealand tribe.
Yeah, the haka.
And when they go into, like, they're doing something in regards to war or other kinds of faiths and beliefs, they bring their ethnic tradition to the place. Now, their people don't say, well, there's a bunch of booty shaking, we don't really need this right now, they should pipe down. Do you know what I mean, bro? This is what I'm saying.
But once again,
I'm saying to you is that although they're there and they're representing the ethnic culture and that aspect, they'll have their politicians, they'll have their freedom fighters, they'll have their people in suits. They'll do it their way. So what Sister Kushti is saying is, I'm not saying that that's why I'm mindful of that. I'm fully aware of what we bring as a culture. And perhaps people who might not know where they originate necessarily from still hold that ancestral spirit about them. And when these things happen, their innate nature is to represent in an artistic way. And what I'm saying is, we need less. Maybe we need those plus some sort of you know, what you've been talking about as a body of people. They're also to represent us as a people, our ethnic culture as well, and all of the politicians and all the people in suits and all the people who can say things nicely together. Is what Sister Chrissy's saying. Not that one man crunking next to a line of police officers.
I'm not saying you're saying that, sis, and of course you bring supreme logic here. But what I'm saying is, like, there has to be a warrior class who leads, right? When death is occurring, when black people are slaughtered, we have to have the warrior class who kind of sets the tone, right?
No, 100% agree. We need everything there, as I said, and maybe perhaps the frustration is that we don't have that. We don't have the warrior class.
And that's
and
why
what gets highlighting is just the dancing. I get it.
Well, yeah. And what I'm saying is, it also the optics of it. So, for example, hold on.
They shouldn't be here. They shouldn't have to be here.
This is media gold to have black men crying, because you got to understand, you got to figure from the.
Oh
media,
yeah, I
right?
said that already. The hugging, the crying, you ain't gonna get nothing from me.
There's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with hugging. But when it's used as a political weapon to undermine black people, right, or to paint a different narrative, like I said, you have scenarios where it's almost against the law to have a black man and a black woman drinking gravy with their child on a Christmas advert. Yeah, but yet you're allowed to see men gyrate on each other, crying, dancing in the street, whatever, all this stuff. But when it comes to like basic stuff of manliness, providing, protecting, it's almost like we can't show it. So we know that black male masculinity is under attack, right? And what we're saying is the black male warriors of a collective group need to really sort out the balance between performative and actually warrior-based stuff. When you talk about the hug, I play rugby, I watch rugby, I know about rugby, right? That's a culture group. They did that when they went to war, right?
Yeah.
And they incorporated that concept because they took the rugby as war, right? So they're synchronizing that, right?
Yeah.
And there's a purpose for that. I'm saying if we could do something like that, that's great. But the hugging, the water, the kissing, and that kind of stuff, and then the policeman making the "we're all together," and everyone's like, "Yay, yay, yay!" It's like it isn't done on black people's terms, you see, because at the end of the day, the black people are still being murdered. And when you talk about
when they do it like that, like I said, their influence is definitely to make black people docile.
Of course,
you know, this is all to make you docile, and you know, forgiveness, and we're all one, and you know, we've got friends. You know, even though we don't, we know what's going on there. I get that. It was just that's the only aspect that I was trying to say.
Let me show you this. Let me show you this. Right, I'm just gonna try to give you an example. Right, if we had a panel with non-black people and black people, right, and we said, "Listen, man, all this injustice, all this kind of stuff that's going on, what we need to do is find a way of body popping to show our frustration about the mistreatment." All the non-black people go, yeah, I'm with you. They'll high five. I've got the camera to record it. They'll love you, everything. Now, part two. Now, what we should do as well is practice black love and black economics. Whoa, hold on now. Whoa, you're going too far there. Can you see? The body popping.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd expect for them. That's what I said in the comment. Like when you said that you went over there, nothing that got said really surprised me.
No, but what I'm trying to point to you is if black people talk about performative body popping when it comes to seeking justice and betterment, every non-black person is in agreement. It's like, this is really good. I support you. I support that, right? But when you then change it, like, okay, now we're doing that. We're also going to practice black economics and black love. Whoa, don't do that. So it's showing you that there's certain things
they prefer us docile. I 100% agree.
So what I'm trying to do is we're not trying to
positive.
We're not trying to eliminate the creative spirit that all black people have, because that's that's in our nature, right? I'm saying that there has to be a time and a place, and we have to make sure the enemies of black people do not use this as an optic to undermine and keep black people docile. That's what we're saying. Inappropriate.
No, and I agreed with you. Like I said, I just turned the twist because I just heard that, you know, the dancing and stuff like that, and I never really heard that aspect of, you know, the ethnicity part of it, and the fact of the people that we are quite articulate, we're quite, you know, we're creative, we're that is our kind of field naturally as well. We don't have to work hard of it, you know. Look at some of the artists that we've got, you know, just this kind of art form is something that we do with ease. We're known for that. So that's all I'm saying about that. But other than that, I agree with you. Definitely don't go crunking in front of a police station or police because they ain't endorsing that. Definitely agree that they want to keep us docile and stuff. And I just think just utilize what we've got. It's the same message that we keep saying. And
keeping the energy is important. So after the fact, make an album. I want every rapper to make albums about Black Betterment and Black injustice, and I want everyone. I'd rather them make songs and dances about that than what they're doing currently, right? But the issue would be if someone dies today and I turn off a microphone and I start performing, and next thing you know, my fans are there, and it's an actual concert now, like on the place he died on the day, and it's like we're forgetting actually we need to honor his.
That'd be mad.
Yeah, but this we see, right? And we see a lot of this also in the LGBT community as well, where they do their stuff, and it becomes a song and dance. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm seeing something here, like this song and dance. Let's figure about that, right? But brothers and sisters, we have gone past the 2 hour 30 minutes mark, so we're going to live. We have to say a special thanks to Brother Cal and Sister Christy, who are great contributors. And they are very synchronized with Black Betterment, and we look to them for guidance. So thank you, brothers and sisters. Any last things you have to say?
No, I was just glad to, 95th show, and we hope that, there's more shows, God willing, man. We appreciate it, Brother Raven, and we hope many more comes.
Thank you, family.
Yeah, definitely. Bless up, and congratulations on your 95th show, bro.
Thank you, family. All right, fam. Until next week, Black Betterment. We might be covering religion next week on the Brother Kel's request. If you have any requests, let us know. Until then, Black Betterment, stay constructive and see you next week.